Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to another episode of Funday Sunday, and this is actually 100th episode of Funday Sunday. Yes, actually this series has been around for a while, I can't really believe it. But anyways, we have a fairly decent battle for you guys today. This is the replay that actually was actually sponsored on Jammin411. I will post his links down below. He did actually did a video on this same recording of mine that I actually had a really fantastic game for you in the Republic, and now I'm basically here taking a look at it from my own perspective, maybe kind of understand what I was thinking. So starting off, we were playing on Tears of the Desert, playing Epicenter. Not the most impressive map, and also it's predominantly a heavy tier 10 battleship and destroyer battle. We have a Republic, Kurfürst, Yamato, Iowa, Bismarck, Zhao, Cleveland, 3 Gearings, a Yugamo, and an Assel. The enemy team, there is a Montana, Kurfürst, Yamato, Alsace, Bismarck, Des Moines, a Togo, 2 Gearings, a Yu Yang, a Fletcher, and another Assel. And I am joined up in division with one of my clanmates, Lord E. Good friend of mine. He's a really good destroyer captain, and as you can see, well, we are already detected, which does mean that there are in fact going to be a lot of destroyers throughout this battle. The Republic is a very unique ship. It actually has the fewest amount of guns, equivalent to, I guess you could say, to the Conqueror, but not many people actually run the Conqueror with only 8 guns. But one nice thing about her is she does have really good secondaries. The secondaries go out to a range of 12.1 kilometers, and her guns are very fast reloading. Her main turrets, her main guns, and they hit pretty hard. They are actually the second largest caliber guns. I believe they're 431 millimeters. So they hit pretty darn hard, and fairly accurate for the most part. So at the moment, you can see there's the Montana, the Kurfürst Gearing, I believe the ARP Miyoko, not the Miyoko, the Togo, the version of the ARP essentially is a Togo that's up here. Now as you can see, I'm unfortunately going deeper and deeper towards these battleships, and I really don't want to deal with that, so I am going to make, well, a broadside turn, and we are now spotted, and there are at least 3 battleships. I believe all 3 tier 10 battleships are over here, including the Kurfürst, the Montana, and Yamato. Now, this is extremely dangerous, but watch what happens with the Kurfürst that decides to show us broadside. A citadel on the enemy Kurfürst, a nice juicy citadel there, but somehow we managed to actually pull away and not get any citadels. Kurfürst does also take a torpedo, so that definitely has weakened him up dramatically. And these guns are fairly accurate, and they do hit pretty hard. As you see there, 30,000 points off of that Montana with a citadel, so nice juicy citadel there. And there is the enemy gearing. Am trying to pull away, would like to help. I am offering my secondaries for assistance for my division mate, and hoping to at least take him out. If we can take him out, that would be nice. Kurfürst once again showing a lot of broadside, but the shells come up a little high and only do very minimal amount of damage, getting a overpen and only a penetration, non-damaging penetration on the turrets, but did not actually destroy them or damage them. Now Kurfürst is actually currently running the space camo that was offered during April Fool's Day, and its fire effects are quite dramatically different, but he is going to go down. Now unfortunately we have just lost 2 ships in that time, and unfortunately that Montana has also disappeared, but there is the enemy Togo, and debating whether or not to shoot at the enemy Yamato, but the Yamato is at a fairly steep angle. It's not really worth it. But instead, we're actually going to focus our attention on this Togo, try to take him out, because it does look like he's going after our friendly gearing, and we really do not want that. And once again, these guns hit really, really hard. Another citadel there. and our very first kill of the game. So in that time, we're still actually down in ships. We were down 2 battleships and a destroyer, while the enemy team is down a battleship and a cruiser. Yamato, for whatever reason, we're extremely lucky. Yamato can pin the Republic's armor, but for whatever reason we managed to take very minimal amount of damage, and somehow Lord E does manage to dodge those torpedoes and is still left alive. But obviously we are currently being detected, and one good idea about the Republic is always keep moving. She doesn't do really good as far as being stationary, and oh wow, just really super lucky. Now at this point there is a enemy gearing only 8 kilometers away and probably is targeting us, which does mean he might be dropping torpedoes. And ooh, look at there, we're outside Des Moines, shots out. Let's see if we can get a citadel. So right now I am aware of the enemy gearing, aware of the possibility of those torpedoes, and nice juicy citadel on that enemy Des Moines. So I am being very cautious right here. That's why you see me in fact turning away, because I don't want to really take a lot of damage. That's the only issue with the Republic, is she's technically has the worst health pool of any of the tier 10 battleships, because she does have a higher health pool than the Conqueror. However, she doesn't have that superhero that the Conqueror does obviously get and gets a lot of complaints on. So the Republic is very susceptible to also a lot of HE damage, and just gonna try to preserve ourselves, because at the moment our team's not doing so hot. We are actually in fact down 2 ships. We have lost the majority of our destroyers. The enemy team has not lost any destroyers as of yet. And shots off at this Montana at about 20 kilometers. Let's see, can we get a nice juicy citadel? Oh yes we can. Another 26,000 points of damage, and unfortunately our Curvers has in fact run into those torpedoes that were probably coming our way. Now I think right now is a very good idea for a battleship, because at the moment our team is down 3 destroyers, and if I can help take out that enemy destroyer, it's definitely going to help us. And at the moment Lord E, my division mate, is currently battling off with that enemy gearing, so I am trying my very best to assist him. Secondaries are fantastic. I do run advanced firing training and manual control of secondary armaments, and we do get our second kill of the game with close quarter expert. But the center of the map is currently not a very friendly place for battleships. There are still 4 enemy destroyers. Enemy Fletcher was spotted, and there is still a enemy asshole around somewhere. And lo and behold, he is in fact dropping torpedoes, and those torpedoes are extremely stealthy. Extremely stealthy. No time to react. Do take one on the nose. Do use our damage control just to prevent any flooding, because for the most part that looked like the majority of all the enemy destroyers torpedoes. Enemy smoke screen is laid down, which probably is the enemy gearing. That does look like the enemy gearing's shells coming in, but Des Moines is currently broadside and trying to get our guns around to take out this enemy Des Moines. That would definitely help us, because we are currently down about 2 ships. Now we're currently down 1 ship, so have brought that back quite a bit, and we're doing decently well on damage. We're sitting at 170,000 points of damage, almost 171. But at the moment we are currently being focused on by 5 enemy ships. Gearing is being a downright pester. Our damage control is off cooldown because of those torpedoes, and that means this fire is going to stick for a little while. And of course the Bismarck shows off right on our broadside, but took very minimal amount of damage there. Open up on that Bismarck. Shells are looking nice, and bang, 20,000 points off of that Bismarck. Earned high caliber. And that's one nice thing, even though the Bismarck does have turtleback armor, which does mean it is very difficult to citadel close up, it can take penetration damage, and that is very beneficial. So took a nice hit on that Bismarck, and it looks like the asshole was finally taken down by our friendly gearing. And at the moment we are incredibly low in health, so I am in fact going to pull away. Keep in mind we do have a Yamato and a Kerfer still left alive, and at the moment we're still kind of down on ship, so things are not looking really well for us. We have just lost Lord E to the enemy Yu Yang, so things are still very, very finicky. I am pulling away. I've gone out of detect, angled myself up, and ricocheted the majority of those shells there. Took a prospective shot at the Montana. Doesn't look like he's opening up at us again, and fell short just a teeny bit. Do have to be careful. There is still that enemy Yamato still around, and going to use a lot of WASDA hacks. Just trying to maneuver myself away as much as possible. We are now no longer detected, and yes, right now we are very susceptible to any good hits from the enemy battleships, so do trying to be very, very careful. Now Yamato is in the middle of our cap, or the cap, and we only have one destroyer left. Now I think I understand maybe why he's doing this. He's actually in fact turning broadside. Don't exactly know why. There is still the enemy friendly Yamato still around, and we do let loose our salvo and a little bit forward, but dispersion does work in our favor, and we in fact actually get a citadel, which does leave him low on health, but he in fact is able to open up. Unfortunately his guns were fairly turned, but we do manage, surprisingly, because of dispersion, do manage to get away with that. But Yamato's still broadside, not what you want to be, because that happens, and that is our 4th kill of the game. We just earned Confederate, and our gearing actually has done really good work against the enemy Yu Yang. And now our team is in fact ahead at the moment. There is a enemy gearing and a enemy Bismarck, and got another heal up. Does look like the Bismarck does get a few hits on us, but nothing too impressive. And at the moment, the only reason we're ahead in points is because we only managed to at least kill more ships than theirs, obviously, even though they've had the cap for some time. But now we're starting to push in and going to try to actually get it, and we actually get a good damage hit, even though he was behind the island, and the mountain indicator told us that those shells probably wouldn't fly over. But Bismarck at the moment is, well, he's pretty much screwed. There is a Yamato, a Kerr first, and a Republic shooting at him. Almost probably could have killed him off if we had in fact had a better dispersion on that. Sometimes the guns are a bit wonky, but for the most part they are very, very accurate. The Kerr first does take out the enemy Bismarck, and all that's left is the enemy destroyer. Now we haven't seen him for some time, and this is actually a mistake I do make. I am now detected, and I don't pay attention to the minimap. Now let's see if you guys can realize where he is. In fact, at the moment, I still believe he's somewhere up northwest. That's at least where he was last detected, and it kind of seemed like that's where it would be. But in fact, as you can see on the minimap, he's actually very southern, southwest side of the cap, and I'm not paying attention. I actually completely missed this. Takes me a moment. You'll see when I actually do realize where he is, in fact. So the Republic's actually, even though I remember when it was first introduced and a lot of people gave it crap, a lot of people did not like the fact that it only had 2 turrets, I think it still does really well. Yes, and there we go. Finally realized where he's at. I think it still does a really good job. It does have to show a lot of broadside. It would play, I guess, similarly to the Conqueror when it has the larger caliber shells, which does mean it only has 2 guns per turret, but it does limit the fact that you only have 4 guns being able to shoot forward, shoot from the bow when going nose in. So that is the downside of the Republic. And it is not the greatest thing in the world. I mean, granted, the guns reload very, very quickly. She's actually a very fast battleship. She does have the engine boost, which can grant you around 32 knots. So that is actually really, really nice. She also has really good secondaries. She handles decently, especially with that engine boost. It does really help you turn. It's very similar to how the French cruisers are, and as we're tooting our horn, how the French cruisers are, the HIV, how it kind of feels when you're driving, captaining that ship. So very similar as far as how she is more nimble with that engine boost. And it does help. It is nice. It does allow you be able to reposition. Now, she's not obviously the most stealthy of ships, but her secondaries are very, very impressive and can deal a significant amount of damage. They definitely hit pretty hard, and they have a fantastic range of 12.1 kilometers. Now, at the moment, Goering is playing elusive, and I'm getting a little greedy. Now, I currently have 4 kills, but actually our friendly Goering here also has 4 kills. And there's one ship left, and I'm hoping to get it, but I would totally be okay at the friendly Goering also got it as well. Torpedoes obviously incoming from the enemy Goering. Kind of have a rough idea where he is. He is obviously on the northwestern side at the moment. He's still in the 3rd outer ring at the moment because we're still not capturing it. So that's a good idea, a good demonstration of keeping aware where the enemy destroyers are. So we have a rough idea where he's at, still in the outer ring, so we're gonna actually move north and try to intercept him. Now, the Goering is not the most nimble of ships. I've been currently playing that ship more recently because of the campaign, and it's driving me insane. I'm not a big fan of the Goering, but as you can see there, we are now detected, which probably means he is obviously right in front of us, and hoping once again to get a Kraken. So gonna try to do some WASDA hacks, try to keep our bow in as much as possible. Now keep an eye on the detected. Now I do run priority target on the ship, and this Goering actually does something rather bit intelligent. He unfortunately gets spotted though. That is unfortunate, but well, Goering's torpedoes were in fact probably reloaded, and I get greedy, and I try to get my back turret in, and this almost cost me the game. He did in fact drop torpedoes without targeting us, and somehow we only managed just to take 2. Do have damage control, still alive. We have no more heals, so we have to finish him off. Goering has no torpedoes. There is about a minute and 20 seconds on the clock. And who's gonna get between the Goering and myself? Who's gonna get Kraken? Let's find out. He's still somewhere in that smoke screen, still above. He's taken out of the ring, as we in fact actually did capture all 3 rings, which are very, very nice. Engine boost is now available, so now we can get a little bit faster. And Goering's now spotted. Secondaries are opening up. Shells out, but our shells in fact do miss, and our secondaries in fact get close quarter and Kraken. So as you can see, our team did earn a victory, and we did a fairly decent job. I think this might be my 2nd highest damage score within the game, 255,036. I think it's about 30 some thousand points of damage less than my Des Moines. We earned Confederate 2 close quarter experts, Dreadnought, Kraken Unleash, and High Caliber. We hit 64 times, got 5 kills. Like I said, I would have been totally okay if that friendly Goering had in fact got the kill. Just very static. A Kraken, so totally fine with that. Nice amount of citadels, 8 citadels. Majority of those were on, in fact, a lot of battleships. Unfortunately, the Yamato and the Montana, the Kurfürst was definitely a huge bonus, so definitely nice getting those citadels. We were top of the team with a base XP of 2,638. Both friendly gearings did a really fantastic job. Both our div mate and also the Cloud. I unfortunately can't see his name, so he also did a really fantastic job as well. As far as our armor piercings, we did 246,180. Secondaries were fairly decent, 8,856. There wasn't a huge amount of time where we could see a very prolonged bombardment with our secondaries. That number can definitely rack up, and also unfortunately we didn't get any fires with our secondaries as well. That's another nice thing, is they do fire high explosive, so we can in fact get fires. Damage received was 151,312, nearly 60 some thousand points more than we normally would be able to take, so decent amount of health was procured back, which was extremely beneficial. And once again, I will have to give thanks to Gemin411 for taking this replay and putting it up on YouTube and offering commentary. Really do appreciate it, and also giving me a shout out. I do appreciate it. But anyways, this is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.